Thanks for being here today. And, I was thinking through it this week, and the question came to my mind. I want to ask you, I want to take a poll real quick. Who likes to be told that the way you do things is the wrong way? Anybody? No hands. What a shock. None of us like that. Hey, yesterday I had the privilege of marrying a beautiful young couple, and when I do a wedding ceremony, I always include a bit in the challenge to them about leaving the culture and family that they were raised in, joining together and creating a new, unique culture and family and things. Because from what I've heard, married couples, especially young married couples, have a bit of a challenge in an area. I've heard about this. I haven't experienced it. But when they first get married, a lot of times, and I'm going to give it to both sides, so don't get on to me for talking about the wife first. But the wife will say to the husband, "That's not how my dad did it." Yeah? Or, "Hey, do you think we should call my dad for some advice?" Any men? Can you relate to that? You've been there? Again, no hands. Come on. Women, you're slacking. Works the other way too. Maybe the wife, and it could be the husband doing this too nowadays, cooks a meal or whatever, and the husband takes a bite and says, "That's not how Mom made it." Right? Yeah, now you're getting it, right? You know, we have those tensions, and I call them in-law tensions, because none of us really want to hear that's the way Mom did it or Dad did it in relation to how we are doing things. If we're honest, that in-law tension is something that most of us have felt. And the reason we feel it is we are confident that we know how to do things. And we don't really need that new advice, because when we're really young, we know everything. As we get older, we know less and less. But, we can take that whole situation outside of the in-laws context, and in most relationships, most areas of life, you and I, most of us, do not like to be told that the way we do something is the wrong way to do it. And for those that are really stubborn, Pastor Justin said I was going to talk to the stubborn people, then no matter how good the advice is, we are not going to take it on board because it came from somewhere else, right? You're all looking at me with blank stares. I know you do this, okay? I know you do, because you're just like me. If that's you today, you've come to the right place. And if that's not you today, if you're the one that's actually usually giving that advice, in-law alert, okay? Be careful, in-laws, not to overstep and things like that. If you're the one that's giving the advice, you're in the right place too, because we're going to look at a passage today, continuing in our series, When Faith and Family Collide, where Moses and Jethro, that's why I say Joseph, because of Jethro, you get it? Where they had this same little thing going on, okay? And we're going to see how they dealt with it. A bit of backstory in case you are not familiar. Moses was the guy who led Israel out of Egypt. They'd been in slavery for 400 years, and he took 2 million plus people and led them out. And he has been through a ton. He started out by having to confront Pharaoh. He was the middleman between God and Pharaoh. I've heard the middle management prayer is middle management doesn't have a prayer. And that would have been Moses, is that he was God's middleman there, confronting Pharaoh repeatedly, on and on again, until finally he led the children of Israel out of Egypt. And then he had to deal with complaining people, because it didn't take them too long after they were out of Egypt to say, "Oh, we're tired. Oh, we're hungry. Oh, we're thirsty. Oh, you're doing a horrible job, Moses. We wish we were slaves again." That's what they were saying to him. Certainly Moses would have been feeling tired and overwhelmed. I reckon Moses would have been a prime candidate for what we call today burnout. And I would suggest to you that it was only by the supernatural empowering of the Spirit of God that he was able to cope. So that's where Moses was. That's where he had gotten into this cycle now of every day he was just getting things done. There's more people, more problems, more conflict, more complaints. And that was his life over and over and over again every day. And then, as you would have learned the last couple of weeks, Jethro, his father-in-law, comes to visit and brings his family back to him to further complicate Moses' life. Now we see faith and family colliding. First week, we talked about this question. We said, how do we manage the tension of busy schedules, demands at work, kids, church, family, and friends' expectations? Remember that question? We worked through that, and here's where we landed. We landed that every day of our lives, we have the opportunity to disappoint people, so we need to spread the disappointment around, right? You remember that? That doesn't mean that you want to be in the business of spreading disappointment. It means you're going to, so make sure you're not disappointing the same people all the time. And then we looked at last week, Pastor Justin talked about being a person of peace, spreading peace. And we looked at it's not so much of us witnessing to people, but people witnessing our lives, living our lives in such a way that when we use our words, it's going to make sense. And that it's not just us trying to start arguments at the family dinner tables and all of those types of things. So if you missed those messages, then go to our website, go to our YouTube channel, download the app. While you're there, hit subscribe, because then you'll get updated about all this stuff. And all the stuff I'm talking about, you'll be saying, yeah, we did that through the week already, so you don't have to do this bit in your message. So Moses' father-in-law, he's brought the family back, and now he's caught up with Moses a little bit. They've had a little bit of reconnection time, and now Moses is going back to work. We're going to see it says the next day. This is a great opportunity for Moses. He gets to show his father-in-law how great a job he's doing. It's like take your father-in-law to work day, all right? So Exodus chapter 18 and verse 13 says, the next day Moses took his seat to hear the people's disputes against each other. They waited before him from morning till evening. Now Jethro's there. He's watching this. It says, when Moses' father-in-law saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he asked, what are you really accomplishing here? Why are you trying to do all this alone while everyone stands around you from morning till evening? Now, Moses wants to give him an answer, okay? Because you see that? What are you really accomplishing? Moses replied, because the people come to me to get a ruling from God. When a dispute arises, they come to me, and I am the one who settles the case between the quarreling parties. I inform the people of God's decrees and give them his instructions. Didn't you see what was going on, Jethro? That's my job. I'm doing a great job. They're coming to me, and I've got to say yes, because I'm the man, Jethro. I'm the one that has to get all this done. And then Jethro responds to Moses' response and says, this is not good. Man, anybody got a father-in-law like that? All right. You're afraid to show your hands, aren't you? Your wife's sitting right beside you. So Jethro's sitting off to the side. He's watching. And this is what Jethro sees. I want you to process this for a minute. This is really what he's seeing. He's seeing people who have problems with each other bring them to Moses. And these people were complainers. Don't forget that. They complained against God regularly, telling God how awful their life was. So you can imagine if they've got problems with God, they've got major problems with each other. So they were good at complaining. And he sees Moses sitting there all day long, giving ruling after judgment, and the queue just keeps growing. It just keeps growing. He sees Moses making some wise decisions and helping a lot of people. That's what Jethro would have seen. Now, what do you think Moses would have expected to hear at that point? At the end of the day, Jethro's talking to him. What do you think he wants to hear? Maybe some compassion. Like, wow, must be hard to hear about all these problems and conflicts and everything and the complaining, and you have to make those decisions. Wow, that must be really tough. Or how about, good job, mate. Hey, when Jim and Bob were having a blue because Jim accidentally killed Bob's cow, that was amazing because you told Jim to put the cow in the smoker and cook it for Bob. Yeah, that was awesome. And when they walked away, I heard Bob say, hey, Jim, why don't you come over? We're going to have a street party. Great outcome, Moses. Well done. Or Moses, hey, when Bill and Sally were having that little marriage dispute, and who would have ever thought that the solution was just to get 2 toilet paper holders? And one of them, it comes out under, And the other one, it comes out the right way. Brilliant, Moses. Good job, son. That's what you would have expected if you were Moses. What did he actually hear? What are you actually accomplishing here, Moses? This is not good. Jethro's approach was honest confrontation. Something needed to be said. Moses would have been completely caught off guard. He was working hard. He didn't ask for this job. God had called him to it. And by all standards that we can measure, he was a raging success. He was a successful leader. He was doing a fantastic job. But Jethro had a much different perspective.